All right, gang,
Hey,
welcome back to another Wake Up Humans podcast. And this week it's myself and Dr. Drew. What's up, brother?
what's up, my man? It is Thanksgiving week, and I am thankful for it. I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful for chiropractic. Um, Dr. Sid always said that uh, no gratitude, a lack of appreciation can be worse than a malignant disease.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest things I've learned is that gratitude. Walter Sanchez talks about it all the time. And, I've taken a great note of that this year because, you could focus on a lot of the BS and the minutia and what I call noise now. And I've had a ton of it this year. But then you just focus on what to be grateful for and it drowns all that shit out.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there was a patient. I think she was the last patient of the day. Works in a lawyer's office. Some backup didn't work. They lost 2 months of stuff. She's gonna have to start like manually entering stuff in tomorrow. But like shit, that's job security. That's great. Um, you have a job, kind of talk her off the ledge. And she's like, yeah, it's pretty good. I put on my headphones, I listen to music and get us back on track.
Amen.
You
Amen.
know. Yeah.
Amen. So we are about a week out from when we launched the pretty much the explanation video, the history in the making that everyone's talking about with Eddie and Lieberman and Dr. Cordero and holy cow, the feedback and the texts and the messages have been insane. So I think that was really beneficial for people to just hear from us, our words, a Facebook post and just a doesn't you can't speak the volumes that were spoken in that discussion.
No, and a Zoom call, a podcast, that's as close as we can get face to face with thousands of people,
Yeah.
and I still want to tell everybody too, like you guys and girls that know us, you know us.
Right.
You know we love chiropractic, we love dynamic essentials, we love Dr. Sid, um, and we're never going to sully those things, never.
Yeah. And someone texted me and said, you got, you must be like, you must be pissed, I am, dude, I am in so much peace. There's no
Yeah,
anger, no animosity. I'm not pissed at anyone. I love everybody. It's just this had to be done for where the vision is, not where the vision's going. We've had the vision and Sid had the vision and did it, and now that's been squashed, but we're picking it up again.
yeah, yeah, and we're going to just keep moving forward, keep
Yeah.
moving forward. That's the thing. I'm not worried about the stuff that's happened. Um, um, y'all and me a little. We tried to correct so many of those things over years and years, and it
Years.
didn't work out. And we could read the room enough to be like, this is not going to work out. So
Right.
got to bounce, got to
That's
bounce.
it. That's it. With love, man, with love. Like I won't, I'm not
Yeah.
going to knock anyone or try to bash anyone. That doesn't, I've learned in life that doesn't get you anywhere. Let's just
Mm,
focus on what we do. And that's why when you and I were going back and forth this morning, I feel like there's been this divide among
yeah.
great people in our profession for a long time, and it's 100% been just human ego, which we all have. We're all culprits of it. We've all mistakenly hurt other people because of our personal ego. And it's like Eddie Martinez sent this picture of Reggie Gold and Dr. Sid together at one of the extravaganzas we did in Connecticut. And remember when Dr. Sid was coming up and you said that he was given instructions to jump on a shuttle to get
Yeah.
to the casino. Remember that?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I remember that.
you were like, bro, and it was one of the big shots, right? One of the big shots in this organization that told him to get on a shuttle. He gave the instructions, and you called me personally, and
Yeah.
it just shows you where we are today, the class. We rented a limo, picked Dr. Sid and Nell and Dee Dee Umber up at the airport, and took him respectfully for all the hard work and vision he's done to the casino and just rolled out the red carpet. But to see those two men together, and also Chuck Gibson was there,
Yeah.
and there was someone else, but there's that picture of Dr. Sid and Reggie. I'm like, man, imagine if those two just worked together,
Yeah, yeah,
And they had their differences, but if we could learn, we don't have to agree with everything, but we could agree enough to work towards, promoting the principle for mankind, period. Like, can we
yeah,
do that? Can we do that?
yeah. And I think we are. I think we are. People have text me, called me, and they have you and Eddie and Brian and Dr. Cordero too. Um,
Mhm.
like, what's going on? Is this for real? Like, yeah, man, this is for real. Like, all the little stuff doesn't matter.
Right.
I don't care. It's what is going to be of this profession in 50 years if we don't do this now.
100%. 100%. And we've had to swallow some pride. I
Hmm.
know I have. There's individuals that maybe I disagreed with and had my own stupid ego things that I've had to overlook to say this is the right thing to do for our profession. And now it's put our money where our mouth is, man. Let's make it work.
Yeah.
You know?
And we've already been working. I've got 30 something pages of initiatives. I hadn't shared this with anybody yet. I think like 31 pages of like
Yeah.
goals and things that I would love to see the IFCO get done
Mhm.
in the next 5, 10, 20 years. It's not just
Right.
this year. Like,
Right.
if you want the shade of a tree, you better plant a tree today.
Mhm. And it's
You know?
amazing where our old and current relationships have, since the words come out, poured into us.
Yeah.
Like, we were struggling, not struggling, but like, all right, what can we do legislatively that's going to be different, et cetera? And some things have rolled in this past weekend that's massive. We're not going to talk about. We really can't talk about. That is pretty darn awesome, man.
Oh yeah.
And receiving a phone call from this individual that was, I thought it was going to be one of those calls where it's like, why are you doing this? This is BJ and Sid's organization. It was the total opposite. It was like, it's about time. Took you long
Yeah.
enough. And I was like, I fell out of my chair, like, oh, sugar, really? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. And we look up to these people. Like, to me, I'm around them and I still feel like the little kid,
Yeah.
and then um yeah, and I'm just so thankful to be where we're at and doing what we're doing, and even the blessing of some of these icons.
Yeah. And you know what? It's time now, really, to build relationships.
Hmm.
It's these camps. We've set up almost innately camps.
Hmm.
We're known as like the DE guys.
Hmm.
And I've gotten on stages at other conferences and I'm like, I'm not just a DE guy. I'm a chiropractor, just like you guys. Because you go to your regional and your state, like your location big event, doesn't make you that guy. Like we're all
Hmm.
looking for the same outcome as one, to be better husbands and wives, raise amazing children, to keep them off drugs, and to raise healthy communities by spreading the word of chiropractic. And no
Hmm.
organization has done that to help
Yeah.
the profession. It's been too much just pointing fingers and infighting. And now what's happening is this event has literally broken down the walls of what we
It
could
is.
call the chiropractors. Like I want to say the principal chiropractors, but I shouldn't have to use that word. But the
No.
chiropractors
And
saying about time.
yeah, and this is our time.
Yeah,
It's not going to be 10 years. Like, this is it.
right.
This is it. And if whoever's listening to this, the 218,000 people listen to this, if y'all want to be part of, like, I was part of that day one. Day one, I was there.
Yeah,
Go ahead and join. It's like
yeah.
less than a visit per month to join the IFCO.
Well, the money is silly, but it's the
Yeah.
principle of the support.
Yeah.
It's the principle behind who you're going to support. And you could sit back and say, well, I'm not joining until they prove themselves. Okay. But maybe by that point, maybe we'll double the membership, right?
Mhm.
Those that jumped in, you're going to stay where you're at. But you know what? As we grow the practice, AK the organization, well, which we probably won't do, but it's just the principle of the matter. So being part of
Yeah.
the solution, which also means there's very smart people out there that you could put input into. Hey, it'd be great to see this. Why don't we do this? Because the biggest word is this is not about I, this is
Mhm.
we.
Yeah.
We got a brilliant people in this profession that if innately you wake up and have an idea, which a lot of people have, I've got a notebook full of notes, then
Mhm.
let's share them. Let us know, reach out and give your input to be part of the growth and what we could do for the future of chiropractic.
Yeah. And I talked to a guy this weekend, and he was just like, "What do you need me to do? I'm
Yeah,
willing to do." I'm like, I don't know yet. We honestly don't know, but we know that we can count on you, and be thinking about what your strengths are, and we want to leverage those and exploit those for the best of the profession.
that's right. Because what's
You
the
know
ultimate
what?
outcome is educating mankind on what it means to go see a chiropractor,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and that starts with a chiropractor, and then we're going to go out to our community. We're going to go out to our different country. I talked to a guy from Ghana. He's joining. You
Yeah,
know, it's he's fired up. He's like, I didn't really know this existed, but I'm literally in the desert, literally, um, and I'm all alone. And this is he was excited.
yeah. That's starting to meet some chiropractors around here in Florida now that I'm staying more, and it's like they've been the common denominators. They feel like they're on an island of their own, and
Yeah.
I'm like, first off, come to DE. You
Hmm.
come to DE, you're going to build a brotherhood, aka sisterhood, whatever. Then you're going to have support. You will never be alone when you have the
Yeah.
band of brothers behind you that we have created with that, and that dynamic is massive.
Yeah.
That's really what's bringing this all together is that mindset.
Hmm. Yeah. And just that brotherhood and sisterhood of
Mhm.
of what we have. You know,
Yeah.
somebody texted me, what was that, Saturday? Just a song come on the radio, sent me a screenshot of the song. Just I was thinking about you. I'm just like, shoot, man, that made my whole day.
Isn't that
Made
amazing?
my whole day. Just for like your thought, if you change your thought, you change your life.
Right.
We're just like, dang, they were thinking about me. Like, all right, I got this. Things are good. You know,
Right.
they said, I'm proud of you. I love you. Attaboy.
I've been studying
That's it.
A lot of Paul in the Bible right now, and everything he did, right down to changing his name,
Yeah.
right? Which is a pretty interesting thing. How a name change could create a clean slate.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But his
Hey.
actions, he took a 180-degree turn. And I think that's the art of what we're going to have to do here is not to ostracize chiropractors that are doing other things because they feel like
Mhm,
they have to or it's what is the right thing, whatever. That's not the objective. It's to really bring it back to what is our core philosophy?
mhm.
What is chiropractic? What was it built on? The 33 principles, our history over 130 years. What is this thing, chiropractic?
Yeah. And we focus on that. And that is a spinal bone can be misaligned, putting pressure on the nerve,
Yeah.
especially up here in the top of the neck or brainstem. That's called a
Mm-hmm.
subluxation. And
Mm-hmm.
that reduces life and increases death.
That's
Here
right.
comes a chiropractor delivering a chiropractic adjustment. All of a sudden, you gain life and lose death
Right.
because that subluxation was corrected. It was removed, and
Right.
we do that 180 times a day.
That's right.
You know,
That's right.
that's what we do.
That's what we do.
You know,
It's like the more people you see in a day, the more energy you have.
yeah.
Right? I'm spending more time now in the Florida office, which we have to build up, right? It just hasn't
Mhm,
had the right energy flow until now. So it's like, you get more tired standing around, not seeing a lot of people.
mhm.
When you see a lot of people, you're seeing over 100 people a day. Holy cow, man, the energy is insane.
I know,
Insane.
right?
So it's like the more work and effort you put in and the more hustle and everything, it's going to feed your soul. You're going to have more power and energy be building up inside of you. It's like I think of those video games that kids play when they go and they keep scoring points, they're gaining more power, right?
Yeah.
Right? They're not being depleted. Their cup is filling up and they're getting to the next level, the next level, the next level. So it's like the more involved we all get and we share ideas and we grow and we get together at DE and we fellowship and we stay up and talk in the hallways and we get all these ideas. It's this thing's going to grow.
Yeah. Yeah. And just the, um, I love the volume, but just because it's like it loves me,
Mm,
like it was a great day. It was a busy day. We just cranking. And then get in and do this. And it's just like, man, I've got other stuff I want to do when I get off this.
that's right.
It's not going to stop.
Nope.
And it's just we were talking today how like this guy, he was talking about introverts and extroverts. I guess that's what it is. Um, Introverts, they start, let's say, with 5 coins, and then like they remove those when they interact with more people, and then at the end of the day, they're spent. They have nothing left.
Mm,
Or the opposite of that, they start with nothing, but then as the day goes on, they start gaining coins, and then at the end of the day, they're like, "Let's go out, let's go eat, let's go hang out,"
yeah,
because their cup is filled at the end of the day.
that's right. They're overflowing and there's gratitude, man, right there.
Yeah.
That's where Dr. Sid always talked about lose yourself in service.
Hmm.
You got to just keep giving and putting it out there, and it's going to fill your cup.
Yeah, and it energizes us when we're busy. Well, we'll see, I don't know, 160, 180 a day, close to two sometimes. And then at the end of the day, I'm like, all right, I can't wait. I'm going to go up to my undergrad college. I'm going to go walk, listen to music, listen to a sermon or a podcast, and walk the dog and do that for 2 hours. Then I'm like, shoot, I got to go home and eat and go to bed. It's time. Like, what am I doing out at 10 o'clock? I got to
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
But it's just like you don't want to stop. I don't like Dr. Sid would have Dr. Nail drive him around at night. Um,
Hmm.
Sometimes I just don't want to go home. I just want to keep doing stuff.
Dude, I've been trying that, trying to let Tammy drive, and it's tough, man, because she's doing 90 on someone's tail, and I'm like, I can't relax. I'm like, how did Dr. Sid do this? Did like Dr. Nell do like 35? She's flying in and out of people, talking on the phone, zipping in and out, and I'm like, I can't relax. Like, let me drive.
And probably hitting your shoulder, like, listen at this, listen at this. But I tell you, if Tammy Judson was behind me, I'd just move over 3 lanes.
You
I'm getting out of
go,
that woman's way.
go.
Like, you go ahead. We love you. We appreciate you. Be safe. She scares me still, dude.
You want something done? You ask Tammy. I always said she should start her own website called Tammy.com.
That's the truth.
She's
She'll be like,
amazing.
Drew, can you? And I'm like, yes, ma'am. I'll do whatever you need. Yes, ma'am.
But it's
But
and this is one of the blessings of like DE. When I first met Tammy, she's a pediatric nurse. And my friends in Cairo school said it'll never work. Like you can't. She's a nurse. And I said, well, Reggie did it, and Irene Gold's a nurse. Like, so I looked at my mentors and I said, well, they did it. Why can't I? So I brought Tammy to DE. I picked out 5 or 6 leaders, and I said, go ask all of them the questions that you have. And she
mhm.
did. She did. And then she sat in the room, and that was it. She was all in. And she's unfortunately, but fortunately, more into chiropractic than a lot of chiropractors are.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's because I dragged her. I didn't drag her. I brought her to DE, and she met people, built relationships, talked to people, asked hard questions, and had them answered in a way that resonated and made sense. People didn't shove things down her brain stem to try to force her to understand. They had conversations, and the truth will set you free, right? And we've
Yeah,
raised
and
5 kids in this thing because of it.
yeah, and it like you don't see that happening in real estate. Hey, you got to come with this real estate. Like, no,
Yeah.
it's only with us. Because Dynamic Essentials is special. this philosophy that is chiropractic philosophy is special. And
Right.
and we know all the stuff you've done and you continue to do, and you're growing more offices. But and I can safely say this because we talked about it before. You wouldn't be half the man you are if it wasn't for Tammy Judson.
100%. No
You know,
doubt. No
that
doubt.
encouragement and love and the space that she gives you to be you.
Yeah.
You know, like
I've seen too many great adjusters and people passionate about this profession that get locked up in the wrong relationship,
yeah,
and they
yeah,
suffer, and they
hmm
suffer because it's not just a job to make money. People try to make
hmm
it that, they try to charge more, see less, but it burns them all out. It doesn't
yeah.
serve a greater purpose of serving mankind.
Mm.
I mean,
No,
this just through conversations I had this weekend, I started up 4 new patients this morning. This morning,
hmm
and that was just there was none scheduled on Thursday, Friday. By
yeah,
the end of the weekend, we had 4 this morning. So it's,
that's awesome.
when you open to attracting people and conversations and we can help you, and they're like, "You sure?" Absolutely. And then you see
Yes.
these x-rays and you're like, these poor people have been lied to, man. I saw
Yeah,
more.
and
Go ahead.
yeah, and no wonder they're living the life they're living.
Right.
You know,
Right. And that circles back to, how do we teach the world about this? With all the resources we have and the powerful minds, instead of, pouring into ourselves and our ego and maybe building a personal program or a coaching program, how do we pour that creativity and energy back into the profession, back into the young ones, back into the purpose and the philosophy of our chiropractic, that's going to help them find their passion and purpose in their spirit, that's going to catapult them. We could teach them nuts and bolts and you could coach them on all that. But if they don't discover a greater purpose and a drive, it's meaningless in about 10 years.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And the nuts and bolts and the how and all that, that's fine. We need to learn that. We need to hone the craft. You need to be able to move the dang bone and get away from it and leave it alone and let it do what it does. And
That's right.
then yeah, and like BJ said, um, when there's a why, you'll find a million reasons. You know,
Right.
if you know the why, there's a million hows.
Right.
You'll figure it out if you have that idea fixate, that
Mm.
major underlying purpose. You're
Amen.
going to figure it out.
Right. Right.
You know, and some
Yeah.
days I just love the struggle of trying to figure it out.
I always had the mindset of salt the knot, right? Never quit.
Yeah,
Hold on tight. Salt the knot. Don't let go. Fight, until about 9 months ago. And
yeah,
I read it somewhere about sometimes you just got to let go and have faith in that God has another plan for you.
hmm
And you're not going to fall to your death, but you're going to fall towards your destiny.
yeah,
And sometimes when you just let go, let God, and have faith, feels right, and you know it, you watch what happens. And that was a
yeah,
pivotal mindset shift for me. You know, I had to change my beliefs a little bit and then have more faith. And I had to let go of that salt and knot, which, man, that shit was tight, to
yeah,
just let go. And amazing things have happened over the past 6 or 7 months.
yeah. And given the same circumstances, I know BJ, Dr. Sid would be proud of what we've done.
100%. And
You
some of
know,
these elders that have reached out confirms that.
yeah,
Confirms that. And I'm not going to use their names just for some certain reasons, things we're working
mhm,
on, but seeing and hearing the conversations and their perspective, where I was expecting something else, because it was just, okay, this is really right what we're doing.
yeah,
And the timing is
yeah,
perfect. And they were kind of sitting back just waiting.
hmm
They never said anything, but they're just waiting.
Yeah, yeah. It's I'm proud that we have a lot of work ahead, and now it is with an organization that actual work can get done.
Yeah, we just got to, like, I don't like to waste energy. I'll work my ass off, but I want to see results.
Yeah, yeah, and
I want to see results.
yeah, and I
You
think I think we're definitely going to get some results.
Yeah.
I mean, we've
Chiropractic's
already
not
been getting them.
chiropractic's not about cracking backs, right? If you're not getting results, the patient's not going to say, I don't care what you say to them,
Yeah, yeah,
and and when it comes in the international arena, if we're not helping the profession and you're just arguing and talking down about people and infighting, what's the point of that?
yeah,
And
and
and the
and
greatest blessing to be grateful for, bro, is those days are over.
yeah, yeah, and and there's always going to be fringe groups that want to have a personality. There's going to be personalities, um, but the best thing about like us is there's no ego in it.
Right.
We just love serving, we love giving, we love doing for the profession.
Well, the beauty for me is because I got the accountability between like you, Eddie, Lieberman. I mean, it's amazing where I've been on a certain roller coaster in my brain, and I get on a call with one of you guys, and you just say one thing that just kind of just chills things out. And that's the beauty of what we've created together. And I think that's where Dr. Sid had the understanding where he tapped us on the shoulder and said, "You guys, you're taking this over."
Yeah.
And it really, the past couple months, I really understand why. He saw
Hmm.
something that we yet didn't know.
Yeah. I started tearing up on the way home the other day from getting my hair cut. I was thinking the same thing that when he brought us together and said, "Boys, I want y'all to make sure this continues," we were just like, "What do we do? What do we
Mhm.
do?" But he saw something in us that we could not see.
And like I said, at one point, these past 10 years has been a boot camp.
Yeah.
When we said yes and stepped into it, we got handed things that we had no idea was going on. And
No.
had to make some
No.
really rough decisions. And we were young.
Hmm. Yeah. And we were all and still are trying to grow offices and serve our communities at the same
and,
time.
and raise babies.
Yeah. I mean, it's mind-boggling when you think about it, how far we have come when we just stay true to the principle.
It's all it comes down to, man. If you got to know what that core principle is too. And I think that's not something we need to come up with. Our profession already has it.
Yeah.
It's just gotta come out more. We need more
Hmm.
people talking about it. Other than how to make a buck, how to use a patient
Yeah.
for money, how to add services to increase your bank account. I'm gonna start saving them these postcards I get inviting me to weekend things on how to make more money. And I'm going to
Yeah.
save them and I'm going to share them sometime and say, see, this is what we get. We're being upsold. Like they're trying to find the low hanging fruit that's scared to just pull you way out to sea. And it's tough, man.
Hmm.
When you get dragged out to sea, you're in trouble.
Yeah. And by all accounts, I should not be here at all. By all accounts. Like like the way we grew up back in Dawsonville, Georgia. Um, I should not be here. Not doing this and getting the invites to these places that we're both getting invites to. It's just like what's happening? You
Right.
know, like like how does this pan out in the end? Because we're just right in the middle of it right now.
Yeah.
Like we're at the top of the bell curve. We're like halfway through this thing of life. But what's the next 50 years going to be?
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, just
Well, that's how we got to think about it. That's the legacy, man.
yeah,
And what's
yeah,
funny is, people are listening to this. right? And you can tell by certain comments that come out. Like instead of joining it, they're fearful of it and they're angry of it and they're I don't know the right wording. They're not jealous. It's just like an animosity and it's just ego instead of just like, why don't we humble ourselves and say, we've messed up as a profession. We
Hmm.
must do better. We can do better. Why don't we really stop everything and say, because there's great people over there that they could realize, you know what, you're right. I'm not here to make anyone wrong. But if we're going to be honest and say we're not doing a great job,
Hmm.
we can do better. If we could come together and put our heads together and come up with a strategy and then work it tirelessly, work it. That's why Dr.
Yeah,
Sid always yelled, work is fun. I love to work. He was brainwashing people to just work,
yeah,
work, and stop taking the easy road. You know, you're not worried about the next Facebook picture that you're going to put out there to say, look at me. When behind
mhm,
the scenes in that room, nothing happened,
yeah.
right? It looks like it's, whoa, they're making moves. They got things going on. I've been in those rooms. They're doing nothing.
They're in a suit and tie. Oh my goodness, look at them.
Right. Nothing's happening. It's time to be
Yeah,
real and say, we got to make something happen for
yeah,
chiropractic,
and
not for the chiropractors, but for mankind.
yeah. It's not for us. Like we're good. We're
Yeah.
good. Um, I'm happy. I'm content. And talking about some people that have a little animosity and all that. A year ago, less than a year ago, I was right there with them.
Mm,
Like I was with them. And I don't even disagree with them now.
right.
But I was telling the guy the other day, I'm like, listen, bro, like you know me, you know Judson, you know Lieberman, you know Eddie. Like he's like, yeah, I do. I'm like, all right, trust us.
Hmm.
Just trust us. Never ask you to trust us, but just trust us right now. Just
Yeah.
do it. He's like, okay, okay, I
Yep.
will.
Yep.
Because if nothing changes, nothing changes.
Right. And I'm not making the decision for anybody. I'm not telling them what to do. I'm not making phone calls saying, hey, come do this. Innate will
Mhm.
provide. When people are
Yeah.
ready, they'll make the decision. And I am really shocked by some people that made really decisive, quick decisions on what they're doing. And that's been pretty
Hmm.
amazing. I mean, that's,
Yeah.
you know who you are, and kudos to you. And then
Yeah.
there's like some people that are just nervous and fence sitters. Still love you. Good luck.
Yeah.
Decide. We're here for you. But we're moving forward, man. And there's a lot of
Hmm.
huge things happening that we're not going to talk about here, but there's some really cool things happening.
Yeah. And I mean, like I've always said, you want to be on the right side of history.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, just get on the right side of history with this thing, and you're going to be glad you did. I promise. You got to be proud of it.
Well, I think that's a perfect place to end this right there.
Awesome. I think so too, brother.
That's a powerful statement, Drew. And in pure Drew fashion, you just dropped the bomb. And people need to listen to that, to my redneck friend's voice, who's one of the most powerful human beings I know with the vision and clarity that you bring to the table. That's amazing, man. And that's why I love you, bro.
Man, we just got love for each other. I know that. I know uh, you've been there for me in the when the storms of life are coming. You don't stop the storm, but you do give a little bit of shelter, and I'm thankful for that.
You know what's funny is like I'm the damn Yankee, right? When I came to life and I was bartending, I had a really, really strong New York accent. They would always order, and I'm like, I get you a beer, and they're like, oh, say that again. Where are you from? I'm like, Tennessee, Alabama. They're like, no, you're not. And they would say that again. So we'd go back and forth. And they're like, well, I hope you leave here. Otherwise, you're just a damn Yankee. And I'm like, and it kind of is like the history, right? I said, look, the Civil War, I had nothing to do with that. Don't be mad at me. Like, and then we become friends, and they would come in every Saturday and party. So we were just at a farm, a big cowboy that Tammy became friends with, and he needs help. He's going through some health issues, and we were there with the kids and bringing in cattle and weighing them and giving them ivermectin, and there was a whole process. But he's talking to me, and he was talking about the history of the land there, and how the damn Yankees, and he kept saying the Yankees, the damn Yankees are coming, the damn Yankees coming, they're building hotels and these damn. I finally said to him, I said, hey, you realize I'm from New York? And he started laughing. He goes, I know, but I like you. And it was just funny. I'm like, this shit's been following me around a long time. And one of my best friends, I told him, is from Murrayville, Georgia. And he goes, I know people from Murrayville. They got good cattle in Murrayville. Uh,
That's awesome.
Dude, the other day, we're all just freaking humans, right? Trying
Yeah,
to just, if you're in the right path, trying to make people's lives better, help each other, love each other, succeed, fail, pick each other up. You may talk the language a little differently, but as long as we have the same message of love and integrity, and for our cases here, freaking principled chiropractic, we're all talking the same.
that's it, man. That's it.
All right, my man. I love you. God bless
Awesome. I love
everybody.
you. I appreciate you.
Share this with your friends.